Hey YouTube, this is Andrew here with another Walking Dead set review. This is the Woodbury assault vehicle. Contains 401 pieces. This is the front of the box. Features Shepard and a walker zombie. On the back of the package you can see maybe a new trend that they're headed towards with more digital imagery. Except for maybe the zombie pit picture. And it also features some of the sets that you can get in addition to this set. Let's open it up and see what's inside. Been looking forward to getting this set since I first heard that this set would be coming out soon. This was one of those sets that I definitely wanted to get as soon as I could. I wanted to do the review sooner. I've been sick for a few days. But I'm back, and this is what we got so far. Inside you can see that it's got several packages. It's all very standard for the Mcfarlane, Lego, Mega Bloks. Any of these are going to have these bags. And it's just to keep things separate. But if you're like me, you're going to just rip all the bags open and just pile all the parts and just work from that one pile. Here's the instruction manual. You can see that they did a good job of showing you the details of how the set's going to be put together. On the back here you can see some of the previous sets and maybe some sets that are on their way. Let's get these bags open and put the set together and see how it turns out. If you want to skip this portion of the video, this portion is just to show you how the set is assembled. Kind of what to expect. So if you want to skip ahead to the actual review, it's going to start at about 15 minutes. While we're putting this together, I just want to talk a little bit about the TV series. And I think that the assault vehicle that we're putting together here was introduced around season 3 of The Walking Dead. And I want to talk a little bit about season 2 of The Walking Dead. This season was, to me, it killed the show for me. I actually quit watching the show for a year, maybe 2 years, and I seen that they had added some new episodes to Netflix, and I quit the show about midway through season 2, just because there wasn't a lot going on. The characters were kind of boring. Their subplots weren't really going anywhere. And I just felt like the show had really lost a lot of its magic from season 1. I loved season 1. It was a really, just from beginning to end of season 1, I thought, wow, I got to watch this show forever. This is a great show. But season 2, it really just, it bogged down. There wasn't much going on. And I quit watching the show about halfway through season 2. And it wasn't until a year or maybe 2 years later that I'd actually picked up the show back in season 2, finished watching all of season 2, and started watching season 3. Season 3 really got me back into the show. It was a lot better. The characters were, they introduced a lot of new characters, much more interesting. They had a better villain in season 3, and it was just overall a really good season. So that's what this is based on. They don't use the assault vehicle much in season 3. You don't get to see it a lot on the screen, but from what I understand from the show, the assault vehicle is used for some of the authority figures of Woodbury to go out and capture zombies that have been trapped or out on alone or whatever, and they would bring those zombies back to Woodbury and they would put them in zombie fights, which is something. And we were I think the first time you hear about the zombie fights, the governor's giving Andrea a tour of Woodbury, and this is something that they would do. Kind of like almost like a spectacle of it, because the whole town would gather and they would have these zombies, and any person that had been captured that wasn't a zombie would be pitted against the zombies in these zombie fights. And at first Andrea she didn't really understand that. She thinks it's kind of disturbing that they would do these kind of things. And when she sees them, she's kind of like she's taken back from it. And I think that shows just how well the show is made and written, because they're trying to establish how much of a villain or a bad person the governor is. So he gets these zombies and he pits them against people that he has captured in the surrounding areas of Woodbury. Maybe someone who has broken the rules in Woodbury would be pitted against these zombies in sort of a death match. And that makes a lot of sense for the character to show just how much power he has over the people he's trying to protect and have a little community with. And in that way he's giving them something, and also showing that, you know, if you're not going to go by the way I do things, you're going to end up like these people, and you'll be fighting for your life. And that shows just how much of an evil person that the governor is, but it also makes a lot of sense, and it makes him actually a much better villain for the group that we've seen in season 1 and 2, because they do some things so differently that you're almost like you want this guy to not exist anymore, because he's just so bad. And they show that for some other ways with the heads in the fish tank, and he keeps his daughter chained up, and he feeds her, you know, body parts from some of his victims, and he does all these sort of weird experiments with the zombies, and he's just an evil guy that you definitely want someone to step in and just put an end to it. Not to spoil anything for you, but he gets what's coming to him in quite a brutal and graphic way. But in the end, you can see what this is all about, though. I mean, he's trying to keep his people controlled, and he's using the zombie fights to kind of do that. And it makes a lot of sense that a community might regress maybe back into this sort of ancient Roman kind of gladiator style fights, because they don't have TV, and they don't have internet, they don't have cell phones or anything. There's not really a whole lot of stuff for them to do, so it makes a lot of sense that they would kind of regress back to such a primal state. And he keeps, for the most part, Woodbury, he keeps them safe, and he keeps them controlled. And there's not a lot of people who want to stand up and take his place. So in a way, he's keeping his job as the ruler of Woodbury. So this definitely plays, even though it's not emphasized a lot, it has a part to play in the show, in that Shepard and the people that go out and capture the zombies, they're there to achieve a goal, and that is to keep the governor in power, and also give the community something to do, something to look forward to. Maybe hard to imagine that that's what society could turn into, but we don't know. This is all a hypothetical show where, you know, they have these zombies and these issues that come up, and you have to kind of think that, yeah, that is possible. I mean, that is something that could happen. So that's where Shepard and this thing kind of sort of come together, in that it achieves a goal of helping keep the people from rising up. And I think they probably use this type of vehicle for other things besides just the zombie fights. You know, they probably go out and you know, get some firewood or something. So it was probably used for more than just that, but that's its primary function. The Shepard character seems like an odd choice for this set. Maybe I'm not sure why they picked that guy. He didn't have a whole lot of time on the show, but I guess they wanted to include some different people in these, and it's just weird that he's getting a set, and some of the other more well-known characters aren't included in a set yet. So that's something. This set is the 5th set of the Walking Dead series that I put together, and I think it was the cheapest in terms of pieces to price ratio. So that's something that definitely was a draw to me. It didn't cost a whole lot. And another thing was the military aspect of this. This is, you know, sort of like an army surplus, maybe, vehicle. And it's something that you definitely want in your zombie apocalypse arsenal, just because they're so rugged and durable. You're not going to want to, you know, have to fix anything that goes wrong with your vehicle, you know, while you've got zombies everywhere. So you'd want something that was you could jump in and just plow through whatever issue that you were having. So this set took about an hour to complete. It might take you less time or more time, just depending on your skill level of putting these together. I did notice a couple of things that was different from the previous sets that I put together and this one. Everything felt a little bit more like the plastic was almost like a different composition than some of the other ones. It felt a little bit harder than some of the maybe the Dale's RV and the Governor's Room sets, and they had a little bit of trouble fitting them into where they go. And if you want to make it a little easier, what you might do is take a piece that you're having trouble with and put it under a desk lamp for a couple minutes and let it heat up the plastic a little bit, and that might help it fit into where you need it to go. That's something I employed a little bit here. Haven't had to do that in a long time. It's usually for some cheaper sets that aren't precisely molded. It's something that you might have to do with this one, just because of the quality of the bricks themselves. Okay, so we're getting close to the end of the completion of the set. Here we're putting on some mirrors. These turned out really well. Some of the mirrors on the Dale's RV were just horrible, but these actually turned out really good, and I liked how they went together. Here's an odd choice that they decided to use, and it's a 2-piece wheel assembly. And to me, it doesn't make any sense of why these are separate pieces. These should be one piece, just so that it fits into the tire like it's supposed to. This was probably one of the hardest things about this set, was getting these wheels to both pieces of the wheels to get inside the tire, and I had quite a bit of trouble with that. I'm not sure why they would want two separate pieces for the wheels. Maybe that's some way of saving money on molds or whatever. But I would probably glue these if you had time to do that. Maybe some hot glue or super glue would work good, and that would definitely make it a little easier getting them into the wheels or onto the tires. Okay, so we need to talk about everything that I found fault with this set. Don't get me wrong, this set is actually a pretty good set. for what it cost, but there are a lot of issues with it, especially with the engineering of the bricks themselves. A lot of the pieces do not fit properly, and they also require a lot of force to put together. My fingers were sore. Almost all of my fingers, you know, they were hurting when I was done with this, and that's something you're not really going to want. I think the target audience here is going to be 12-ish and up. They may not have that kind of strength or pain resistance that I have for this, so this is going to be a pain for them to put together. Here are some of the pieces that are left over after the set is completed. And here you can see that they've employed a little tailgate or lift gate in the back. And you can see it works pretty well. You can definitely see that it's a brick construction on the back side of it. Here is the interior of the truck here. You can see it's got a seat, a steering wheel, and a dashboard. And toward the back here you can see that it has a crane or control arm here to lift stuff. And on the underside you can see some of the Lego style bricks that are used to put it together. Okay, once completed, you can see that despite the issues that I was having putting it together, it still turned out fairly decent. Very detailed. You can tell that it is a military style vehicle. There's only a few little places that you can see where it's been constructed using bricks, such as the back of the rails, but overall it turned out fairly good. The set also includes 2 minifigures, and here is the zombie figure. You can see that he's pretty standard for your Mcfarlane. There's not a lot of distinction between him and some of the other zombies. Focus here just a little bit to show you some of the details. He's pretty standard fare for what you'd expect. He's got a decent amount of blood and a little bit of gore, but overall the details of him are pretty good. You think there would be more than one zombie figure in a set that is basically a vehicle going out to catch a bunch of zombies, but nonetheless, you only get one. Here is the other figure. It's Shepard. You can see that he is a lot more detailed than the zombie figure. He's got a vest and some pants and a shirt and whatever. But you can see just a lot of good details there. They did a good job with him. And he included a little assault type weapon. The set also includes this little mesh net, and the idea there would be they would go out and throw these nets over the zombies and scoop them up and use them to haul the zombies back to Woodbury. Okay, so you would use the winch here to lift the zombie up and maybe put him in the back of the truck here. When you're putting this together, you're going to want to leave as much slack in the string as you can when you tie it to both the hook and the winch. You can see that mine was just a little too short to get the desired action there. And the net itself doesn't quite show, it doesn't behave like it's shown on the back of the package. You can see here that it's kind of got the zombies all bunched up nice and neat like. It's a lot harder to do that with the net that's included. Okay, so in addition to the Shepard character, you do get a set of legs here that are seated, and that is to position Shepard where he can be driving the vehicle. This is one of those things also that he doesn't quite fit like he's supposed to down into the truck. I mean, you can kind of get him down in there and make it work, but it requires a lot of effort, and you actually have to like loosen the steering wheel and like push it forward a little bit to get him to go down in there like he's supposed to. And this is just one of those things where, you know, they didn't put either enough thought or engineering into it when they designed it. It's a small thing, but it's nonetheless a little bit frustrating as you can't get the full range of play out of it. Okay, that's pretty much everything I can think of to include in the video. Of the 5 sets of these put together, this one is probably my least favorite just because of some of the fitting issues and some of the quality issues. But it's not a total loss. I mean, if you're into The Walking Dead, you're definitely going to like this set, and you're going to get a pretty good sense of accomplishment once you get it put together. So there's some good things about the set. The price is good, and it's got some cool features with the net and the winch and stuff. But before you go out and buy this set, you might want to check in and see some other reviews of this set. I think Jane Bricks has got a review of this, and Mr. Evil Cheese has got a review of this. So just watch their videos, see what their thoughts are. And that's pretty much all I got for you for now. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.